week. Vern Lundquist along with Dan Deerdorf. And the Vikings, of course, Dan, 15-1 in the regular season last year.
Monster expectations here in Minneapolis, Vern, and why not with a record like that? And they've got firepower plenty. They only scored 17 points last week, but the last time I looked, it was a W, not an L. Randall Cunningham still leads this football team. He had such a huge year last year. Look at 34 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and a lot of people have forgotten he was Brad Johnson's backup last year. He is the man this year, very relaxed.
And it is the home opener for the Minnesota Vikings. We'll return to the Metrodome after this message from your local station. His stars. Randy Moss set an NFL rookie record with 17 touchdowns last year in his quest for the NFL's Rookie of the Year honors. In Moss's shadow will be last year's Defensive Rookie of the Year, Charles Woodson of the Oakland Raiders. They go head-to-head for the first time next. The Oakland Raiders and the Minnesota Vikings meet here for the first time since 1990. For Randall Cunningham, a continuation of a career resuscitated here in the Northland last year. And for Rich Gannon of the Oakland Raiders, a homecoming. He played for the Vikings for 6 years. Back with the kickoff in a moment.
Welcome to NFL.
Last year in Tampa, 8 of his 72 for touchbacks, and David Palmer, who last week had 3 kickoff returns in the win in Atlanta, including one of 51 yards. Vikings win the toss. Husted will kick off. Oakland 0-1, lost a heartbreaker to Green Bay. Vikings 1-0, won a squeaker against Atlanta. Palmer at the 9. And Palmer hit and knocked down at the 23-yard line, the tackle made by Eric Barton. Randall Cunningham, now 36 in his 14th year. And just a terrific season last year when he replaced Brad Johnson, as Dan said, and wound up throwing for 34 touchdowns. Last week, modest numbers for Randall Cunningham and the Vikings. Ball at the 24-yard line, first down and 10. But a year ago, an offense that set a season record of 556 points. Backs in the eye. Robert Smith is the deep back. And they open with Kleinsasser in the H-back position. And Robert Smith gets a first down up to the 38-yard line. Gain of 14. And that big Viking line opened up the hole. It's Susie, McDaniel, Christie, Dixon, and Corey Stringer. Robert Smith, and when they go with the 3 wide receiver set, it'll be Moss, Reed, and Carter with Andrew Glover, the tight end. And they do now go with 3 wide receivers. So Jake Reed, Randy Moss, and Chris Carter are the 3 wideouts. Marquise Walker in as a nickel back for Oakland. And Cunningham pressured and down. That is a matchup we will watch, Dan, all afternoon. Darrell Russell and Randall McDaniel. Defensively, you've seen Russell with his first sack of the day. And the strength of this defense is at Russell and Russell Maryland spots. Johnstone and Harris on the outside. The linebackers, K.D. Williams, the rookie free agent, joins Biekert and Harvey. And the matchup we'll watch all afternoon. The 2 cornerbacks, Charles Woodson and Eric Allen, against Randy Moss and Chris Carter. And again, 3 wide receivers on 2nd and 20. Blitz coming. Cunningham has his tight end Glover over the middle to the 46, about 2 yards short of the first down. Newman and Eric Turner collaborate with the tackle.
Well, the Vikings opening up with a little bit of everything. An extremely well-blocked play on first down. An extremely poorly blocked play on their next play. And here a wide open Andrew Glover downfield. That time outstanding pass protection by the offensive line up front. that didn't even block Darrell Russell on the play before. But Andrew Glover today, I think with all the attention given to the wideouts of the Vikings, could have a big day down the middle of the field, Vern.
3rd and 2. Cunningham sends it left for David Palmer. Out of the backfield, he is popped by Eric Allen, but it appeared to be enough to get the first down. They go with the 3 wide receiver set, Moss against Woodson, and flip it out to the tiny back, David Palmer.
Boy, they make it look so ho-hum overcoming that big sack. But David Palmer, boy, that is a big-time collision. Eric Allen, of course, it's not often you get a shot at a guy as little as David Palmer.
And down at the bottom of your screen, there's the matchup, much anticipated, Moss and Charles Woodson. And the handoff to Robert Smith comes right, hit and dropped by K.D. Williams. Linebacker who had such an outstanding game last week, his first start in the NFL. Young man who played at Yuma Junior College in Henderson, had 3 years in the Canadian League, a cup of coffee with both Dallas and Kansas City, where he became very good friends with Deion Sanders and Derek Thomas.
Don't gloss over his best job, Vern. He was a sky cap at Tampa International Airport for years. That's how he put food on the table most of the time. What a great success story.
2nd and 10, play fake, Cunningham, deep, Glover.
It's what I just said. So much attention, so much cover 2 going to the outside with the safeties to cover up Chris Carter and Randy Moss, that I think the middle of the field is going to be wide open for Andrew Glover. No jam at the line. Greg Beaker tries to get into him. But again, that curl back into the middle of the field. Turner and Newman slow to respond. Randall gets hit at the very end of that play by the blitz coming from Lance Johnstone, the defensive end, rather, who got in and got the hit on Randall. But a good start for Glover.
Here's Kleinsasser with the block. And Robert Smith tries to get around Eric Allen, but can't. That's the 2nd-round draft pick out of North Dakota, Jim Kleinsasser. And he lines up. He'll play as an H-back and a tight end, and he was the lead block then for Robert Smith.
Yeah, he was their, Vern said, their 2nd-round pick, and he's a load, this Kleinsasser. 85. Get a load of this guy. He's 272 pounds. And he's fullback, H-back, tight end. He's one of those guys that's going to be all over the place.
Tripped away.
Jimmy Kleinsasser. I love his name. I just like saying it.
Three wideouts. You might have a chance to say it a lot. Here's Cunningham. Rush coming. Richard Harvey got there first. So 2 sacks in the early going for the Raider defense. 1 Russell, 1 Harvey.
Yeah, Harvey comes off the corner and he's untouched. The Vikings just not in a position to pick him up. They've got 1 back in the backfield. He goes the other direction. Richard Harvey completely untouched. Randall saw him coming. Hey, sometimes it's better off to just take that sack than to be foolish with the football. 2nd sack of the season for Richard Harvey.
And 3rd and 15 now. Earlier in the drive, the Vikings found Glover for a gain of 23. Moss and Woodson right side. Cunningham goes deep for Glover again, but it's a little too high. He was there. 4th down. Gary Anderson and the Vikings saw considerable action here, led this team to an 11-5 record his last year here in '92, traded to Washington the next season, and signed a 4-year contract as a free agent with the Oakland Raiders in the offseason. Gannon into the flat, Kaufman one-on-one out of the corner with Ramus McDonald. Let's check the Oakland offense. Mo Collins at the left tackle spot. We'll watch Steve Wisniewski and John Randall today. Robbins, DiNapoli, and Kennedy. Kaufman and Ritchie in the backfield. Tim Brown and James Jett, the wideouts, and Ricky Dudley, the tight end. 3rd and 9. Kerry Mickens comes on as a 3rd wide receiver. Tim Brown in the slot to the left side. The backs are split on 3rd down 9. Blitz. Gannon deep in the middle for Brown, drop. And he was there. He beat the nickelback, Kenny Wright.
Quarter. Favre giving off, coming off the left side is Levens. Dorsey Levens following a good block by Antonio Freeman. Gets about 9 yards on the play.
Dick, let's go back to that third down and take a look. This is the coverage you're looking. This is where he was looking first, and this was his second look that he had. Batch went back. McKenzie's able to get himself a rush. Remember, he's holding on to the ball a little bit longer because it has to be a deep pattern. But look at the coverage. Vincent to the outside, Edwards to the inside, nowhere to go. Williams on the other side. Coverage everywhere. Makes you pull the ball and hold it a little longer. And bing, from the backside comes McKenzie.
Charlie Batch taken in the second round last year.
I like that kid.
Got a lot of poise and a tremendous amount of self-confidence. They're measuring, and they do have the first down. They spotted the ball, and the marker just tipping the inside of the football. So the Packers with their second first down of this first quarter.
Yeah, I think this is going to underscore what the Packers want to do. They want to run the football, and they want to try to take that ball out of Favre's right hand until they absolutely have to have it. And if they're going to run, then I believe their fullback, William Henderson, is going to have to pick his game up.
J.B. Brown, number 31, has replaced Terry Fair at cornerback for the Lions. First down at the 47-yard line. That yellow marker you see on the left is the first down line. And the handoff going to Levens up the middle, and he dives for about 5. And right now, for an NFL update, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Dick and Matt, good start for Trent Dilfer out of the shotgun, blitz control, little quick hitch to Burt Emanuel, 19-yard pass play for the score. Bucks up 7-0, and Matt, Dick, Terry Bradshaw still on the Dilfer bandwagon. Back to Dick and Matt.
What do you think of that? You know what? Sooner or later,
if the Tampa Bay Bucks can get some points consistently, they're going to be a good football team because they have the defense to carry them a long way.
Big pitch by Favre, gets a big rush that time by Aldridge, and the pass intended for Freeman, incomplete, and so the Lions knocked down Favre for the first time in the game.
Dick, there's a big difference, and you're right. It's an incomplete pass. That's the way it'll be written, but that should be dropped, because that's a perfect job by Favre of reading the blitz, going to his hot, and the ball is where it has to be. It hits Freeman right in the stomach. You can't drop that ball. Antonio Freeman is way too good of a player to drop that ball, but he does have concentration lapses, and you just witnessed one.
And Freeman, by the way, also has a fever. So he and Ross Berber not feeling as well as they should, and on the first pass is complete to Corey Bradford for a first down. Bradford, who made several big catches last week, including the one that set up the game winner on the last play of the game.
Nice job of the offensive line of setting it up, and then because of that protection inside, Bradford's able to see. And he has the time to be able to go behind Boyd and sneak where Boyd can't feel him. Once you get to the blind side of that underneath coverage, you have yourself a chance to sneak into an open spot. Because Favre had time, he was able to make that throw.
And a report on the other side of the ball for the Packers, Santana Dotson has a stinger in his shoulder.
That's not good.
He has been the key in that defensive line. Meanwhile, the Packers have a first down on the 32-yard line, and Favre,
that's going to be on the Packers. It looked like
penalty flag is down as well.
Yeah, it looked like somebody jumped early, and they nailed the call early, and actually that'll give them a break. It's going to give the Packers a break. That could have been a sack.
Prior to the snap. False start. Number 81 is the offense. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
So it'll be first down and 15. Tyrone Davis, who has really turned into a major weapon as the Packers feel that they have 3 outstanding tight ends, reminiscent of when Shimura and Keith Jackson were doing major production several years ago.
Well, what Tyrone Davis brings is some speed and the ability to get to the middle of the field fast, and that's what Keith Jackson gave.
So first and 15, back to the 37. Here's Dorsey Levens off the right side, gets to the 35-yard line where Ron Rice comes up to make the tackle.
It looks like the Packer offensive line doing a pretty good job coming off the ball. And with Dorsey Levens, you don't have to give him a gaping hole. I think Dorsey Levens does as good a job at pushing, not a hole, I don't want to call that a crease. He'll push the crease where there's nothing, and all of a sudden he picks himself up 4 or 5 yards like you saw in this last play.
Second down and 13. And Barr drills it. The pass caught short of the first down. That's Mark Shimura, the tight end who did not play at all in preseason. He had that sprained back, and he'll mark it inside the 25, about 1.5 yards shy.
Well, Brett told Pam Oliver prior to the game he's going to see how that thumb feels as he goes. One thing I'm noticing with Favre already is he's not just throwing with his arm. He's using his whole body. You can see right there, he's just kind of give a little loosen up. When he's throwing the ball now, you can see he's using everything like a follow-through of a pitcher off the mound.
Third down and 2. Swing pass to Levens, and he's stopped by Fair.
They put Mike Sellers in and did that. Then they did it to Steven Alexander. But what he's going to do is Brad Johnson is going to start to roll to his right. And this is a throwback thing. You see, he rolls out here right, stops, throws back across the field, and as the pursuit starts, they develop a screen in behind away from the pursuit. And then Alexander just takes that ball right down the field.
And it's first and goal. Davis inside the 5 to about the 4. The ball came loose. And let's see who's got it.
This is the type of thing that the Giants do well. I mean, they play good defense, and they're opportunistic, and they're always going for the ball. This is the type of thing that has haunted that Redskin offense and Norv Turner too. Remember last week against the Cowboys, they got inside the 20 and had a couple of fumbles.
When you get a pile like that, a pile of humanity like this, all kinds of things and changes of possessions go on down in there.
Well, you see the ball is out there.
Yep.
And then Stephen Davis gets it back. He was down there on top of the ball. That's not a bad rule. He who fumbles should recover it.
He gets another chance, does Davis. Down to about the 1.5 yard line, and he's pushed back from there. Redskins already leading 7-0.
We're talking about Stephen Davis and how he's coming along. One thing, he's always had a problem with running too high, and you can see on those last 2 plays he was too high. I mean, when the closer you get to the goal line, the lower you have to be on both sides. Defensively, you have to get lower, and offensively, you have to get lower.
It's 3rd and goal. They have about a yard, a little bit over a yard to go for a touchdown.
I think this is a passing situation.
Davis again, and he spins touchdown.
Or a running situation where the back spins and gets a touchdown. That offensive line is doing a good job.
What they are. And what they are is about number 16. And sooner or later, number 16 has to make plays.
Second and goal from just outside the 5. Plummer, play action. Goes in the end zone. Zach Thomas with the interception. Looking for Rob Moore and Thomas.
Bad move by Plummer. He didn't have to make that throw. He could have threw that ball down at the ground, threw it away. He could have gone and run. He tries to fit it in between 2 white shirts, an impossible throw.
Miami takes over at the 20.
The 7 by Hudson and Parrish. Ricky Waters has gained 1,000 yards 4 consecutive times, 5 times in his career. Here is a face mask against the Bears.
Grabbing at Ricky Waters did not have a big day yet last week. In fact, running the ball, the Seahawks did not have a big day.
Just 21 yards for Waters.
And 31 for the entire team.
Incidental face mask on the defense in the middle of the line. 5 yards. The measurement ends up at a first down.
So it wasn't the major face mask, just the garden variety. It's 5 yards.
Those don't hurt too bad. Ricky Waters, 5-time Pro Bowler. I tell you, just about everywhere he goes, he impacts the football team. The 49ers, Philadelphia Eagles, and of course now in Seattle. Outspoken guy. Give me the ball. He'll make something happen.
He's played in the West Coast offense before when he was with San Francisco. And a timeout taken. Breaks 1 tackle. And then contact made by Tony Bryant, number 94.
lost in all this talk, Vern, about Moss and Chris Carter and Jake Reed and Cunningham is, one, you have an all-star running back here in Robert Smith, almost 1,200 yards last year. He did have 1,266 back in '97, and maybe one of the 2 or 3 best offensive lines in all of football. This is as complete an offensive football team as you will find anywhere in the NFL. In fact, one of the better ones we've seen in a decade.
Play fake again. Cunningham feels the pressure, flips it left, caught by Glover, the tight end. 3rd catch for Andrew Glover. And that's a pickup of 10 and another Minnesota first down.
When you say you're going to play cover 2, which puts your 2 safeties in the deep outside, you're putting a lot of strain on the other people to try to keep track of the tight end. And you can see Randall getting the ball out to Andrew Glover, who was wide open. Randall almost overthrew him, and Glover makes one heck of a nice catch.
Now Carter lines up wide right, and Randy Moss in the slot. Cunningham comes right side for Randy Moss. Got him in between Woodson and Turner. He was in the slot, and initially they had a linebacker on him.
Again, the Raiders are sitting, playing zone. There's Randy Moss in the slot right there on the left side of your screen. He's going to move to the inside, and then watch this break as he comes back to the outside. And this, you know, it's not a complicated pattern, but it is a timing pattern. The ball must arrive when he's in that soft spot between the corner and the safety. Perfect execution by Cunningham.
First down and 10. Kleinsasser is the lead back now to Robert Smith. Starts right, comes back left, tests the middle, inside the 25, and Anthony Newman makes the tackle.
10 touchdowns of 40 or more yards last year
for the Lions, and it comes with 1:17 to go in the first quarter. Ron Rivers has some running room up the middle, and he picks up about 5 with Leroy Butler making the tackle.
Dick, I was speaking with Ray Roberts before the game about, you know, blocking and how life without Barry and all that stuff, and he was saying it was so hard for him when he came here from Seattle because Barry was such an unconventional runner. You would start in on somebody, you didn't know where he was going to go. And he said in a lot of ways that made it a little more difficult. It took him time to adjust to that. And with Ron Rivers, he knows where he's going to be, and that makes it a little easier for him.
Second down and 5, and here is Rivers, and he has tripped up.
He's going to have to block a little bit better than that because right there, Vonnie Holliday just took him through to the side and made the tackle.
As you pointed out, so often with Barry Sanders, he wanted the offensive line just to stand up and hold their man out.
Well, in a lot of cases with Barry, what it became was the NBA in pads. That's a nice play by Vonnie Holliday. Takes him, shucks him to the side, and makes the tackle. Now, if you run under a block, you better make the play. Because if you give up that outside, Rivers can get there. It could be ugly.
Third down and 6. Vonnie Holliday with 8 sacks a year ago, and another whistle, and time runs out. That is the end.
James Jett, the intended receiver, defensive holding on Denny Green's bunch.
Well, the only good news for Minnesota with defensive holding is that that's only 5 yards in the first down versus all that extra yardage if there's interference.
Holding on the defense, number 27, prior to the pass. That's a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You know, penalty is a penalty, but it ends up saving the Vikings about 20 yards. The hold right there at the line of scrimmage as Jett tries to break back to the outside. You can see Hitchcock grabbed him up around the helmet and the shoulder pads with his right hand. Jimmy Hitchcock has been around for a while, 4-year guy, and of course remember he was with Bill Parcells in New England and fell out of favor, to put it mildly.
First down. Wheatley comes right, gets a couple to the 41-yard line. Tackle made by Ed McDaniel. Well, hope you saw the Tennessee-Florida game last night. We'll continue with our college football coverage next weekend. Arkansas against Alabama, or some of you will see West Virginia at Syracuse. Saturday, it all begins at 3 o'clock Eastern time. on CBS. That was some game last night.
You know, I never played there, but I'm starting to gather that it's not real easy to win in that swamp.
Second and 8, 7-0. That's Kenny Shedd in motion. Rush coming from the outside. Gannon finds Tim Brown, and Tim Brown out of bounds at the 25-yard line. A gain of 17.
Well, it started up front. It was outstanding pass protection by the Raiders. Rich gets a chance to look downfield. This is a pretty good pocket. Everybody's controlled up front. He's allowed to set his feet. Now he just sidearms the ball a little bit to Tim Brown. That was an outstanding job up front. All right, there's John Randall. Now he starts off over Gennaro DiNapoli, the right guard. He moves him to the outside, stays after him. Randall won't hurt you as long as you can reroute him like that.
First down and 10 with the Raiders trailing by 7. They hand it off to Wheatley. He breaks into the secondary and is tackled at the 20-yard line. Now let's see what else is going on in the league. Here is Jim Nantz.
All right, Vern, finally someone has penetrated the Pittsburgh end zone this season. The Baltimore Ravens. Eric Rett gets in to tie the game at 7. Let's go back to you.
All right, Jimmy, and the Oakland Raiders trying to do the same, tie it up at 7 here. This their first serious thrust offensively in the ball game.
And they're trying to take advantage of the fumbled exchange between Christie and Cunningham.
Randy Jordan splits out wide to the left, and Tim Brown in motion, followed by Kenny Wright. Gannon in trouble. Gets out of the tackle, but does not get the first down. I think they had a play designed for Randy Jordan. And he was well covered by Jimmy Hitchcock.
Initially, the pass protection is good. His pressure is going to come from the backside. Take a good look there. Dwayne Clemens works in from the backside and is able to just trip Rich up enough. It was not a sack because he got beyond the line of scrimmage. Actually picked up a couple yards on the play.
3rd and 3, and Randy Jordan comes in. He is a short yardage specialist now. They'll fake to Jordan. Gannon with a rollout. Has a man who drops it at the 15-yard line. James Jett with Hitchcock covering.
It's taking advantage of Gannon's mobility by putting him on the move. Gannon rolls to his right. There's Jett coming across the field to catch up with his quarterback. It's an absolutely perfect throw by Gannon, but look how Hitchcock had his right hand in the midsection of James Jett and was able to knock that ball away. That is a superior defensive play by Jimmy Hitchcock.
Michael Husted had the kind of start Gary Anderson did last week. 1 of 3, and he'll try and kick this one home from 36 out of Eric Hughes' hold. And Husted puts Oakland on the board. John Gruden's team gets their first 3 points of the afternoon. Field out 2nd and 8.
There's the flag down. Looks like Miami was offsides as an incomplete pass intended for Makovicka. Looks like Trace Armstrong got an early start. Maybe Bowens as well.
Number 95, defense. 5 yards. Repeat the down. 2nd.
And it is on Tim Bowens.
Tim Bowens, and that's Jason Taylor, Dolphin star defensive end. He's down. It's funny, you talked to Taylor the other day and asked him about being manhandled at 245, 6'6", 245, which is almost unheard of for a defensive end. Even though they are lighter these days, that's awful light.
Yeah, he got a little upset about me using the word manhandled.
He got a little twisted up.
It's Plummer, and probably it looks like he just lands kind of funny.
I don't know if he got a little shot there before he came down. Jake Plummer's talked about gaining on some weight in the preseason. He walked into the meeting the other day. I didn't see it.
I didn't either. I thought it was some equipment manager or somebody sitting in there watching a football game, a college game on TV, and I looked again, and it was Jake.
I mean, that's great. The defensive end, 248, falls on the quarterback at 185 and gets hurt.
And Taylor is up and coming off the field under his own power.
when Jason Taylor goes out of the game, what the Dolphins lose is a speed rusher. And that's basically what he is. And that gives a lot of problems to offenses, especially in schemes where you have to have your quarterback's back turned to that side. And being a right-handed quarterback, Jake's back is turned almost the whole time.
Lorenzo Bromell, second-year man, comes in for the injured Jason Taylor. And it is 2nd down and 3 for the Cardinals. Adrian Morrell behind Plummer in a one-back set.
2nd and 3. These are weight downs. These are the downs they like to go up top and take a chance sometimes. Not here.
No chances taken as Morrell is corralled by Derek Rogers.
Once again, the speed of this defense. Rogers played it with Plummer at Arizona State. Both of them played on that 96 Rose Bowl team. There he is right here. And you see the linebackers, they're just lining up in a stacked position. And they're not worried about walking out trying to cover a tight end or a wide receiver. They're staying in there and handling that run first.
3rd down and 4 as Jason Taylor's back in the lineup. And he hits Plummer as he lets it go, but there is a flag down on the play as well.
Jake will be lucky if he gets away without an intentional grounding on that one as well. He was in the pocket, and he just threw that ball down.
Yeah, Jason Taylor draped all over him. And the preliminary signal is offside.
Offside. 93. Defense lined up in the neutral zone.
Trace Armstrong.
5-yard penalty.
4th penalty for 33 yards on the Miami Dolphins.
Trace Armstrong can't be in the neutral zone, which cuts across the tips of the football. It's hard to tell from that angle if he was there. But that line judge looking right down the line of scrimmage, he can see it. Boy, a lot of penalties for the Miami Dolphins. They're very unusual for a Jimmy Johnson team.
And costly penalties as it gives Arizona a 1st down from the 39. And Plummer tries to force it in, and Zach Thomas almost had another interception.
And one thing that Zach Thomas told us the other day is the advantage of being 5'11" as a linebacker. I don't think people see me that much. You know, I'm not so sure that Plummer sees him here. I mean, from that angle, you'd wonder why, but he let that ball go, and if he looked first, once again, there's Zach Thomas standing right in front of him.
And it was a nice play from Frank Sanders turning into defense and knocking it away. From Thomas, 2nd down and 10. Nice play of the drive. Adrian Morrell on a draw. Slam. Daryl Gardner with the defense. Let's go to our Fox Network Center in Los Angeles for an NFL update. Here's JB.
Way and run. Giants offense did not cross the 50 last week. In the red zone here, Charles Way, 7-yard touchdown run. First offensive score for the Giants this season. Trailing Washington, though, 21-7. Back to R&R.
That's what we could use, a little R&R. 3rd down and 10. Plummer with time throws it to the corner for Sanders. What a one-handed catch from Frank Sanders. 12 yards on the pickup and a 1st down.
I wondered why Frank Sanders has been so quiet. Last week he had a couple drops and he's been bothered by an ankle. But he's over here on the right side. He's going to run the corner route. He's just going to work to the sideline. Watch this catch.
Wow.
That's money there. Hey, when you play the Cardinals, you got to do one thing, and that's match up. Rob Moore, Frank Sanders, the rookie David Boston, they've got some people on the perimeter that can sting you, and that's a good example of it right there.
1st down and 10. 11th play of the drive. Plummer gets it batted away. A blitzing linebacker, Robert Jones, knocked it away, but there is a flag.
Boy, Jason Taylor better cool his jets.
And it's offsides against Miami again.
He jumped
Offside. Number 52, defense. 5 yards. Repeat the down. 1st down.
That's Robert Jones. Yeah, he's coming in. He tried to get a little jump start on that blitz. Ray, you know what that's like. You guys get a little anxious and forget there's a neutral zone there.
Yeah, when your number's called as a blitzing linebacker,
when it's time to
you're ready to go. So the 5-yard penalty makes it 1st and 5. Sanders comes across in motion, doubles back. Pittman. He's hit for no gain as Tim Bowens stuffs Pittman.
Yeah, Bowens is in on it now. He's doing a little trash talking. Daryl Gardner, 92, came with the swim move. And this really started all because he's in Pittman's face right now, forcing him. Watch Gardner right there. Watch this move. I mean, come on. You got to give your back a chance.
2nd and 5. No gain on that last play as Plummer throws it out quick. And Sanders picks one off the ground. Another great catch from Frank Sanders. That's 3 this afternoon.
George Hill, the Dolphin defensive coordinator, knowing that he's backed up in the red zone, going to put some heat on Plummer. He's forced the interception before. Remember that. So he's going to come at him and try to force it again.
3rd down and 1 for the Arizona Cardinals. Michael Pittman splits out wide from his running back spot. And the Dolphins bring the house.
Oh,
and
he had it.
Jake Plummer had Frank Sanders wide open, and I guess he expected Sanders to make another circus catch.
Yeah, he did, and you can see he's kind of getting on him there. I don't know if I agree with all that, but he had time to make the throw. Zach Thomas comes. They brought the linebackers. There's Thomas. I don't know. I've seen Frank make that catch also.
I think Jake expected Frank to break that route outside a little bit more and get away from where the cover
was. Tackle made by Greg Beaker, number 54.
I'm going to get a chance to watch those Michigan quarterbacks do battle in Kansas City, huh?
The Michigan quarterbacks have become dominant.
We got Brian Greasy in Denver,
right?
Elvis Gerbach in Kansas City.
And that kid in San Diego now?
Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Quarterback U.
Everywhere.
Go Blue. Tim Brown trying to shake off 2 drops on 3rd down. 2nd down and 10. Here's Cunningham looking right all the way, finds his tight end.
And the New England offense finally giving the fans something to cheer about. Drew Bledsoe getting out of the pocket and nailing Jefferson in the corner. Adam Vinatieri into a
so they could move up and draft Klein Saucer. That's how much they like this guy. But again, this 270 pounds plus. So the Vikings tight ends, 270 plus for Klein Saucer, Crumpler at 260, and Glover, the lightweight, at 245.
David Palmer in on 3rd down and 4. Carter starts in motion. Cunningham goes deep for Carter. And he goes by Eric Allen and then slows down.
Well, he went by Eric Allen before that, Vern. That was the 2nd time I think he went by Eric Allen. Eric Allen tore his ACL last November. I'm amazed that he's even playing at this time of the season. You see him right there. He tried to get a late jam on Chris Carter, but that 220 pounds, that upper body strength of Chris Carter, he just sloughed him off like he wasn't even there. Other side of the field, Randy Moss, Charles Woodson. Not a factor. Not enough footballs to keep all these guys happy.
Minnesota has called timeout. That is their 2nd. We'll be out of 4 for 52 yards to close the half.
Another fumble. It's on the ground. That's the 4th time that's happened today to the Bengals. And it appears that perhaps Dillon may have gotten back on top of it. Boy, that pitch has been a problem, even with Jeff Blake at quarterback.
Yeah, what happened was Achilles threw that at Corey Dillon's hip. Watch that. That's on his. Well, actually, he had it in his hands, but it was on his hip. He still could have made that play. Corey Dillon could have made that play.
It's one of those where the coordinators say the good ones make that play.
You're right. Right. And of course, he's pressured there by Junior Seau.
2nd and 13. Play fake. Right through the hands of Darnay Scott.
Another dropped ball, and Achilles may be down. He landed. He was pressured by Rayleigh Johnson, and he landed kind of funny. Like he might have twisted his ankle a little bit. As he's throwing the ball here, watch him come down You see Rayleigh Johnson scrambling on the ground there. Oh, and he bends his ankle with his hand right there.
And Dillon fell on top of him after Rayleigh Johnson undercut him. 3rd down and 13. That one was nearly picked off. Boy, the Chargers defense has been outstanding. Darrell Lewis.
It's a good pocket initially. Let's take a look at number 93, John Randall, working against DiNapoli rather, and he comes around, and look at that. Randall has both hands on Rich Gannon, and he's able to still shovel that thing out there to Ricky Dudley. John Randall working against Gennaro DiNapoli gets around, and as I said at halftime, who's going to start making plays for the Oakland Raiders? Rich Gannon got it started, Vern, and now they're taking turns.
John Randall had him wrapped up, he thought. A 35-yard gain. Ricky Dudley's first catch of the season. And on the play, Lincoln Kennedy, the right tackle, injured and helped to the bench. And Daryl Ashmore, number 73, comes on for his first series this afternoon.
Both teams have lost their right tackle. Corey Stringer on the sidelines for the Vikings with a knee.
1st and 10, 3:23 to go, 3rd quarter. Gannon hands it off to Kaufman, stutter step, and look at him slither inside the 10 and down to the 7. Oh, did he put a little bit of a move onto the right side.
And again, it's the burst of Napoleon Kaufman. It's his speed because he starts this, look at this, into the middle of the formation, and then the containment is broken. He's able to get to the outside. There's an error by the Vikings defensively. No corner force on the perimeter of the defensive line. And Kaufman took advantage of it. And finally, we're seeing some running attack from the Raiders.
1st and goal at the 9-yard line. They're up by 6. That's Jet in motion. The handoff Kaufman, and he's buried at the line. No gain. Tony Williams, number 94, and John Randall, number 93, and Kaufman gets up limping. John Randall, 7 consecutive seasons of 10 sacks or more, joining 2 other men, Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White. This was Randall in the locker room before the game at 12:05 Eastern Time.
John really needs very little effort in getting his motor running. This guy must levitate out of bed in the morning.
Tyrone Wheatley in the backfield now. Gannon steps up, fires it. Tim Brown at the 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd down. That's the 8th catch. And Gannon says, my fault.
I could hear Tyrone Wheatley on the blitz pickup. Watch Wheatley there on the left of your screen. Step inside and pop right on Dwayne Rudd, standing him up straight. I just can't get over how well Tyrone Wheatley is playing for the Raiders. A guy that was really let go by the Giants. They thought he was finished. Jimmy Johnson cuts in training camp. Somehow Tyrone Wheatley has gotten it.
3rd and goal at the 5. That's Jordan in motion. Gannon, quarterback draw, goes left, touchdown. Wisniewski and Robbins and Ashmore leading the way.
And a quarterback draw all the way. 2 steps, plant, go. Look at that block by Wisniewski and by Robbins, the center, as they drive the Vikings all the way back into the end.
Pressure on Donovan McNabb. And Steve Everett, the center, able to recover the fumble. Ball spotted back at the 32-yard line. Brian Dawkins returned with the interception with 37 yards. Dawkins' 2nd interception of the season. Eagles have to get to the 17 for a 1st down. And McNabb steps back, calls timeout.
Short of the 1st down to Frank Sanders. An 8-yard gain as Sanders makes his 6th grab of the day.
There's Bartholomew, the punter. I thought it was knee, and it is knee. That's a freak thing there. mean, he just kind of planted and... Boy.
And if he stays out, Olindo Madre, the place kicker, would have to come in and do the punting duties as Frank Sanders comes back after motioning on second down and short. Adrian Morrell runs into Jason Taylor, short of the first down.
You got to remember, Jason Taylor just ran down and made the touchdown-saving tackle on that punt. And now he's right back out here playing special teams. When you're young, you can get away with that kind of stuff. When you get old, there's none of that going on.
I know what you're saying, partner.
That's why I brought that up.
3rd and 2. Arizona just 1 of 8 in third down conversion.
A lot of talking going on by the Dolphins defense.
Morrell in motion. Plummer looks quick and then goes up top. Back shoulder to Rob Moore. Moore with the reception, working on Buckley.
And Buckley is complaining about a push-off. But you know what that is? That's a 6'4" guy working against a 5'10" guy. It's called the stop fade. Bump and run. As we said, Rob knows that the safeties don't help the corners here. Boy, and really, Buckley's got nothing to complain about. If they're going to call push-off on anybody, they're going to call it on Terrell. Rob Moore just going up and snatching the ball. Here's a guy that has had no training camp, practiced for the first time, a couple practices last week.
Pittman stopped for a loss.
Dodged a bullet on that fumble by Favre and get 2 points in the ball. This is their best starting field position of the game. They're 48. And the pitch to Dorsey Levens. Boyd chasing him. And Levens gets...
See that man's hair.
You know things are not going good when Jimmy Johnson's hair is blowing like that.
The word on the punter, Brent Bartholomew of Miami. Sprained right knee. Return doubtful. As Plummer goes play action.
He's going to run this.
And he'll run it and get up to the 15-yard line before Robert Jones runs him down. They're still 7 yards shy of the first down.
It has to be because of his thumb. And as he said last week, he made that big run against the Eagles at the end of the game, and he landed on the thumb and hurt the thumb, and it hurt the other thumb. I think that's why Plummer doesn't want to run so much out of the pocket. I know they've been trying to teach him to stay in there more, but this guy can take it and do it outside of the pocket.
3rd down and 7. Arizona trails by 3.
2 tight ends in the game.
Plummer throwing the fade up to the corner for Moore. Incomplete. Buckley with tight coverage.
He caught it, but he's out of bounds, but you got a flag down.
Preliminary signal is against Arizona. Illegal formation. Number 63 not up on the line. That penalty will be declined. 4th down.
I think that's a mistake. There is no 63.
When the extra point is up and good. We have 14 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in regulation.
Charles Woodson with Jake Reed. That's a Viking.
The shotgun. It's all been play action offense. And what Sherm Lewis did was, you know, in the past you never heard from Sherm. It would always be Mike Holmgren this, Mike Holmgren that. There's Sherm right there. But now the players are saying Sherm this, Sherm that, and more importantly, Sherman Lewis is saying, look, it's not about me. I'm turning it over to Brett Favre. I'm turning it over to Antonio Freeman. Those guys are the reasons, and I want them to step up.
And the Packers are stepping up in the ball control department in a big way today. First down on the 31. Good play fake by Brett Favre, and the pass drilled to Schrader. And Bill Schrader is tackled at about the 2 by J.B. Brown. And a gain of 30 yards, and the Cheeseheads on their feet as they sense the Packers perhaps taking command.
Dick, we are watching Bill Schrader grow up. We saw him from the start. We saw him make mistakes, and now we've seen him turn into a pretty decent receiver. Got good speed, catches the ball, make the difficult catch, and Favre now has confidence in him. And when he gains his confidence, then he'll make the next step.
He was a rebel big time under Mike Holmgren. Here is Dorsey Levens pushing the pile. No signal yet from the officials. Touchdown, Packers. They wanted to make sure.
Dick, all he had to do was turn and look at Brett Favre. He gave it a long time before that. Remember I said if they didn't do anything, they were encouraging him. They're just letting him hang around.
So Dorsey Levens scores the touchdown to tie the game at 14.
Now they're going to probably... No, they're going to kick it. They're going to kick it.
That gives them the lead.
Right.
Before, they would have needed 2 points before the safety to tie the game. So Ryan Longwell is on, and a big day for Dorsey Levens, who gained 78 yards last week. Longwell's kick is good, and the Packers leading for the first time since the first quarter when they took a 3-0 lead. It is now Packers 15, the Lions 14.
Make it look easy.
Yeah, that's what they did. As you said, he went in motion, so he goes in motion to the Alexander side. So that takes and spreads the defense out to that side, and then Alexander just goes straight up to the post. You see it, here's Alexander right here. He's going to go to the post. Good pass protection, and the thing that opened that up was Stephen Davis going in motion. He went outside of Alexander.
And for the extra point is Conway. The Redskins are in the 50s.
This guy can run the ball, that's for sure. Hey, he needed about 15 yards. I think he ran for 20. Watch Sapp close in on him. He sees Sapp, and he takes off. And that's one thing that you'll never be able to account for. Hey, he'll learn the offense. He'll learn where the 1 receiver is, the 2 receiver, the 3 and 4, his reads. But he has that ability to get out of the pocket and get away from a rush and turn nothing into something. Heck,
21
you have
yard,
to love that.
Yeah, 21-yard pickup. McNabb pressured, going deep. For Dietrich Gels, it's knocked away.
Number 20, who's getting extensive action as a nickelback today.
In motion, and we've seen this pattern today a lot by the Raiders. Remember, James Jett scored a touchdown on this in the first half. It's just that simple crossing pattern. It takes a while to develop. It takes good protection up front. One of the things the Raiders have been doing so far today, pretty well handling this Metrodome crowd noise. Not a lot of false starts, but I'm not sure it's been louder than this.
They call timeout. They don't have one. Rich Gannon forgot they've used all their 3 timeouts. The Raiders do not have a timeout.
I thought that's a penalty.
It is. Got to cost them 5, I believe.
Their 4th timeout. That's a 5-yard penalty.
The rules, you can't take what you don't have. Remember, the Raiders lost the timeout when they challenged, and it was not successful in their favor. That was where that timeout went.
And now they look at a 3rd and 10.
And Vern, there's a lot of football left to be played here. 12 minutes and 17 seconds for a team not to have any timeouts. This could hurt the Raiders down the stretch.
All 6 Raider penalties in the second half. Gannon in the air, incomplete.
Or a touchdown to win it. Plummer goes to Rob Moore. And there is a flag out late as Moore was working on Madison. The main cog of this offense, I mean, you can see today 206 total yards, but bigger than that, they rely on him. And it's different when you have a guy come through and he surprises you. as opposed to a guy like Dorsey Levens, who they know has to produce, and he still produces.
Well, with the injured hand, you know that Dorsey Levens would be maybe more of a key figure than some of the wide receivers, and he has been. Favre has not thrown a touchdown pass today, has thrown one interception, has a first down on the Lion 35. Favre up the middle, and he's trying to go to Antonio Freeman. Freeman would
downfield for Rob Moore. And there is another flag down, 2 flags down over there as Terrell.
Snapper.
Sideline.
Again, Favre looking to throw up the middle, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Antonio Freeman again, and the Lions down there with good coverage. Luther Ellis putting the...
Lee Johnson, the holder.
Obviously, the Patriots let the clock run down, took the penalty. Maybe if you're the Colts, you decline that. There's a reason Vinatieri wanted to move the ball back a little bit.
26-yard attempt. First field goal attempt of the day. It's up. And good.
By about 3 or 4 yards, Stephen Boyd, the tackle, actually only a couple, and a fourth down coming up. And the Packers will call their second timeout, and Stephen Boyd slowly.
Plummer with time. Dumps it out to Morrell. Behind him, almost picked off. Jerry Wilson again.
With 13 seconds to play. The holder is Sauerbrunn. The snap by Manley. The kick is up. No good. Well, it was long enough into the win. I'm surprised Seattle didn't take that timeout to ice him. They chose to let him go ahead and kick.
Half sacks.
Good. The hole looks solid. Just going to miss. And it is a game of inches.
Prior to the snap, false start, 65 offense. 5 yards, third down.
Anthony Clement feeling that heat. He's coming in, taking the place of James Dexter.
Arizona goes an entire game without a penalty. 2 big ones when they're trying to go the length of the field to set up a game-tying field goal.
Plummer had the right idea a few plays ago with the dump-off, but the problem is Morrell never got on bounds, and he put the constraint on him now with the time. They still have 1 timeout, though.
They put 9 seconds back on the clock. You see 32 seconds left in the game. Plummer. His sack.
They got a
Grace Armstrong.
They got
for the King of Queens.
Randy Moss and company, and Randall Cunningham, and you know Minnesota's defense a little weakened.
Now, Stephen Boyd has
City in Cleveland for the head coaching position. You get the feeling he's going to be there one day because this guy can flat coach.
First down 10, Raiders. At the Minnesota 46, it'll be Wheatley again with John Ritchie leading the way. A flag.
America's number 1.
30 seconds, update.
3 yards. Plummer throws it up for grabs. Intercepted by Brock Merritt.
Came out. He is normally the nickel back, and he has made some big plays, as you pointed out.
outrageous bet. Are the stakes too high?
Sold out Adelphia Coliseum in Nashville, Tennessee, where today it's an AFC Central matchup between the Cleveland Browns and the Tennessee Titans. And hello, everyone. Welcome to Nashville. Bill McAtee along with Beasley Reese. And Beasley, the story today, the quarterbacks.
Well, it's a devastating development for the Titans. Their quarterback, Steve McNair, undergoing back surgery literally as we speak. That man, Neil O'Donnell, gets the start. And for the Browns, the #1 pick in the draft, Tim Couch, makes his debut as a starter.
The Browns and the Titans. That's coming up next from Nashville.
We don't lose at home. You guys waited. We all waited too long to have a place called home. This is home. We don't lose at home. Let's go out there, have some fun, and let's win a football game, fellas. Keep it on track. On three, let's go win. 1, 2, 3, win! Let's go, fellas.
To have football. Kickoff on its way. Roel Preston, who was just signed as Luke brings it back across the 35 to the 37. Good field position to start for Tennessee. Ronnie Powell made the stop, and there's Neil O'Donnell. Steve McNair was expected to take Tennessee to the playoffs, but now the road has to be navigated by O'Donnell, signed in late July just for this type of situation.
Can't tell you how lucky this football team is to have Neil O'Donnell. How smart was it for Floyd Reese to go in and bring in this veteran? And looks like he needs him before he wanted to, but he's got a good one.
Two wide receivers to the right. George, big hole up the middle, and he's out across the 45. Marquez Pope made the stop. Now up front for Tennessee, Hopkins is solid. Sanderson, Matthews, the longtime veteran, Olsen and Big John Runyon. The skill positions, Eddie George will see a lot of work today with the injury to McNair. Dyson and Thigpen. Thigpen played with O'Donnell at Pittsburgh, and Wycheck is an outstanding receiver at tight end. 2nd and 1. Again, George outside, has some room. Across midfield and into Cleveland territory. Wally Rayner, the middle linebacker, made the stop. A pickup of 11. Up front for Cleveland, McCormick, the ex-Cowboy, Ball, Yurkovich, and Alexander. The linebackers, Jameer Miller is the defensive leader, Rayner the rookie, and Theory's the other outside backer. McCutcheon starts, the rookie out of USC, Fuller, Pope, and McTire. And the Titans on the move. 1st and 10. Again, it's George picking his way to the 40. Hey, it's over!
Now, here's what you can expect. You are seeing a new game plan, and with Steve McNair in the game, you saw a lot more passing last week. Now with McNair out and O'Donnell, in, you're going to see a lot of Eddie George. First 3 plays, runs, great blocking.
Jeff Fisher scripts his first 12 plays, excluding 3rd downs, because obviously those are situational. 2nd and 7 after the pickup of 3. Short drop. O'Donnell complete. Harris close to another 1st down.
He is very smart to go to Wycheck. Wycheck, perhaps the best receiving tight end. And then you really have to give him a lot of credit for his blocking. Where Wycheck goes in the running game is pretty much where you'll see the running. He's going to be at the point of attack. Where he goes is where you'll see Eddie George run.
Tennessee's leading receiver for the last 3 years. So another 1st down from the 32. George is the lone setback. O'Donnell with time out wide. That was intended for Michael Roan. Marquez Pope had the coverage, so 2nd and 10. We want to welcome those of you just joining us. 12-19 left to play in the 1st quarter. An early drive by Tennessee. Neil O'Donnell is the quarterback. Delayed draw to George, and he's stacked up near the line of scrimmage at about the 30. Jameer Miller made the stop. Miller signed as an unrestricted free agent from Arizona. And these were career numbers for Steve McNair last week against the Bengals. 341 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, and 1 rushing.
I tell you, life is not fair. This guy was expecting a breakout year. Now he's going to be out almost 8 weeks, maybe half the season with back surgery. And in California right now, probably under surgery right now.
3rd and 9. That's Dyson in motion. Still 2 receivers to the right. O'Donnell steps up. It's caught by Yancey Thigpen, and he's close to another first down. Looks like he's just about a yard short. Antonio Langham, the nickelback, had the coverage and forced him out of bounds, but there's a flag down.
Well, this is just a beautiful pass.
We got a
play.
completed pass.
Watch O'Donnell. See, people say he's not fast. You don't have to be fast. You have to be quick. In
by the offense, number 72, 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Brad Hopkins calls for holding, so they'll bring it back.
Well, when the play broke down just a little bit, Neal had to step up a couple of steps. That kind of throws off the rhythm of the linemen. They know, they can sense the ball is not gone yet. So Hopkins, the left tackle, had to hold on just a little longer to allow Neal time to get the ball out.
So 3rd and 20 from the 42. Again, O'Donnell out of the shotgun. 3 receivers to the right. Outside to George, and he stopped immediately at the 35-yard line. Corey Fuller was the first one there.
Well, the offensive line is giving Neal O'Donnell a lot of time. A lot of time for Neal O'Donnell. That's exactly what they have to do when the new quarterback comes in. Remember, Neal was signed in the offseason. They gave him $1 million, a 1-year contract, and that's probably one of the smartest acquisitions of the year for Floyd Reese. Little did he know he'd need the guy this soon.
So that'll bring out Craig Hentrick, the punter. Hentrick with a very strong leg. Pretty good average. He'll go for the corner. He puts it up. And that's going to be down at the 6. So Cleveland will start deep in their own territory after the 29-yard punt. So we're underway in Nashville for the first possession for the Cleveland Browns. The fans are on their feet here in Tennessee. This is the start of the Tim Couch era for the Browns. Big-time talent, big-time expectations. High formation. They'll run it. Kirby stops at the line of scrimmage.
Tim Couch making his start. Tim Couch with all the talent in the world. Look at what he did at Kentucky. 67.1 completion percent. Big time yardage. 74 touchdowns against 35 interceptions. This guy's got everything. We talked to him yesterday. He's calm. He's ready. He said, I'm not going to focus on being a rookie or my first NFL start. I'm just going to focus on my responsibilities as a quarterback and know that there will be up and down.
In the I formation, Edwards is the fullback, Kirby's the deep back, and a flag.
False start by the offense. Number 71 puts his hand up off the ground. To half the distance to the goal, and it's still 2nd down.
And that's what home field can give you. Up front for Cleveland, Brown, Pine, Wolleberg, Zahersky, and Brown. Kirby and Edwards are the backs. Kevin Johnson is the speedy rookie out of Syracuse. Leslie Shepard, the former Redskin. Herb Smith is the tight end. So 2nd and 14. Draw play. Kirby looking for some room across the 5 and about to the 7-yard line. Joe Bowden made the stop. Well, we want to welcome those of you just joining us. It's the Titans and the Browns 8:55 and counting left to go in the first quarter. No score. Cleveland operating deep in their own territory. First series as a starter for Tim Couch out of the shotgun. And the receiver fell down. That was Leslie Shepard on the out pattern. So 3 and out for Tim Couch.
Well, they've got to help the rookie out. I mean, Jim Pine can't raise his hand up and get a penalty. The receiver can't fall down. So that's not a very good start for an offense that's got a rookie behind them. The veterans, like Pine, have got to settle in and be a calming force. They've got to help them.
Chris Gardocki, longtime Colt, and before that with the Bears, on to punt. Punted 6 times last week against Pittsburgh. That's Roel Preston, just signed this week. Back deep. He retreats back to his own 38-yard line. And close to midfield at about the 48. Marlon Forbes made the stop. A 55-yard punt and a 10-yard return. No score in Nashville.
Wycheck is such a big part of this offense. You notice that he blocked. He acted like he was going to block. That gives the linebacker a misread. So he goes into the linebacker, moves straight out into a flat, easy play.
Pickup of 6, 2nd and 4. O'Donnell straight back with time. Has Wycheck again. And Wycheck pulls his way close to the 30. Tim McTire, the free safety, made the stop after a gain of 15.
Number one option is going to be Wycheck. Wycheck is out here somewhere, and on the snap of the ball, he's split out wide. On the snap of the ball, Neal goes straight to him. He can tell by the defensive alignment that he's going to be open, and it's an easy throw and catch. Where Wycheck ends up in the running game is where the ball will be run, and he's the number one option as a receiver.
George up the middle. Powers for 3. And now for an update, let's check in with Jim Nantz in New York.
All right, Billy, another day of remarkable finishes. Pittsburgh wins on a last-second field goal by rookie kicker Chris Brown from Nebraska. And by the way, some of you saw New England and Indianapolis at the end. Peyton Manning's last drive ended with an interception, and the Patriots are now 2-0. Let's go back to you.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Again, Tennessee on the move, 2nd and 7. Wycheck in motion. George behind him. Kicks it outside. Picks up maybe 3. Dalen McCutcheon, the rookie out of USC, the 3rd-round draft pick, made the stop.
Now, once again, I want you to find Wycheck. Wherever he is going to be the point of attack. Look at him slide in. Eddie George is going to decide what to do based on where Wycheck hits his man. I tell you, it's a simple offense. The problem is stopping it because Wycheck is so good and because Eddie George is so good.
3rd and 5. The Cleveland defense gave up first downs, 14 of 20 third-down situations last Sunday night. Dyson in motion out of the shotgun. O'Donnell steps up, fires. There's a flag down. Wycheck has the first down, but let's check the flag. Now you know what Chris Palmer wants to do.
Illegal use of the hands. Offense, number 73, holding and hands to the face. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
That's Scott Sanderson, his 3rd year out of Washington State, who started last week because of the injury to Jason Lehman. So 3rd and 15 as they move it back to the 37. 3 wide receivers in. O'Donnell from the shotgun. Inside of 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter. O'Donnell steps up, fires. That's Dyson, and he can't hang on.
Well, that was absolutely beautiful coverage by the Browns. That's number 24, Corey Fuller. makes a great read, slaps at Dyson's hand right at the last minute. Put a little pressure on Neal this time, but good blocking up front. Look at that defensive play. That's using the correct hand, the right hand over the front, and knocks it out. It doesn't get any better than that.
Well, the Browns last Sunday night forced only one punt, and this is already the second for Tennessee. Kevin Johnston is back deep. Another good high punt by Hendrick. Right at the goal line. And again, Cleveland will start deep in their own territory.
That's Little Hawk, Anthony Dorsett. What a beautiful special teams play. Puts his feet down right at the line. That takes tremendous quickness to knock that ball back in.
34-yard punt. Nice play from Dorsett. Ready to go. 5:37 left to play in the first quarter. And again, tough field position for Tim Couch. Couch still looking for his first official completion in the NFL. Again, back to pass. Steps up the sideline. That was intended for Leslie Shepard. So 2nd and 10. And the one positive thing Beasley reads right now is the Cleveland defense. They've done an excellent job.
Well, they are very fortunate, and the Titans should be upset. They've had great field position. Couch has had no field position. Titans have played on 50-yard football fields. They have no score, nothing to show for it.
And you got to figure that Tim Couch at some point deserves a break.
Well, he needs to be like at least something farther away from the goal line than he's been every time he's walked into the game.
2nd and 10. Kirby upended at the line of scrimmage. That will bring up, I will call it 3rd and 7. And that's not what Chris Palmer wanted.
No, starting an average on his own 6. And if you're a Titan fan, starting on the average of your own 42, you need to be ashamed of yourself. I mean, they haven't even had a field goal attempt.
Checking off. Looking left. Safety. Samari Rolle got there in a hurry.
Well, I don't know what quarterback would like to be looking at a corner blitz out of nowhere with Samari Rolle making about a 10-foot leap in the air. Samari stands for African King, and the king is in the house. Look at him go up. Tim Couch is absolutely frozen.
And you saw Eddie Robinson already had him from the other side.
See, what a great call. The Titans put 9 men in the box. That's what everybody was worried about. When Blaine Bishop walked up, that meant 9 people were standing across the board. And as a result, Tim didn't have any idea where the blitz was going to come from. You know, this is a tough defense for Tim Couch to start out against. It's a unique defense. It's not one that you see every week. It's a version of Buddy Ryan's old 46. The blitz comes from everywhere. It's also the zone blitz principle as well as the old-fashioned straight-out man-for-man across the board sending guys. So if Tim Couch can survive this little baptism, believe me, it'll get easier week to week.
Well, Chris Palmer was going with a limited game plan for Tim Couch. He wanted to identify what he can do and then build on that. But really, Couch hasn't had much of a chance so far.
Remember what he told us? He told Tim about the blitz. He said that I told Tim Couch that they will start blitzing him when we get off the bus. So that stands true. That rings true so far. You want to talk about all-out blitz? Let's take a look at it again. Everybody across the board, the corners coming off the right side, Samari Rolle goes up so high that it blocks out the sun. Tim Couch does a good job just to hold on to the ball and not give up a touchdown there in the end zone.
Samari Rolle, 2nd year out of Florida State.
Great athlete. Once again, Samari stands for African King. That's a noble name to give a young man. He's living up to it so far.
So Gardocki will kick after the safety. Roel Preston will take it at his own 21. And again, the Titans are going to have great field position. Ronnie Powell made the stop for Cleveland. Well, Monday on CBS, keep your motor running for a wild season premiere. Kevin James and Jerry Stiller are back and riding high on the season premiere of The King of Queens. Monday at 8, 7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network.
That's one of the funniest guys on TV. I love his Tiger Woods imitation where he tries to dribble the ball on his sandwich.
Gets himself in the head. All that. First and 10, George worms his way to the 47. Marquez Pope made the stop along with Dalen McCutcheon.
It was more Dalen McCutcheon than Pope. Pope is looking for a part of his football uniform. An intimate part. He left it on the field there. Beautiful move by Eddie George.
Jeff Fisher told us he didn't change the game plan. He still wants to try and get the ball downfield. What might be missing is that extra time Steve McNair gives you with his ability to scramble. 2nd and 4 after the pickup of 6. George, nothing. That'll bring up 3rd and 4. Wally Rayner, the rookie middle linebacker, 4th-round draft pick out of Virginia, made the stop. And log on to the NFL and vote in the continuing series of the best NFL photos of the century. This week, the theme is leaps, only at www.nfl.com. Jeff Fisher. 3rd and 5. 4 receivers out wide. From the shotgun, O'Donnell fires. Yancey's big pin, and he's got a Tennessee first down in Cleveland territory. Dalen McCutcheon made the stop.
You know, they spread out the offense in order to spread out the defense. That gives you a lot of passing lanes. This is just an old-fashioned one route. It's a 3-step quick out. This is a bullet of a throw in the perfect position. When they throw it like that, you don't beat a person, you beat the defense. When it's that precise, it's hard to stop.
So 1st and 10 from the 46. 4 first downs for Tennessee. Short drop. That's Dyson on the slant. And he picks up another 8. Rayner made the stop.
Well, Neil O'Donnell, the veteran, he is so valuable to this football team in this situation. Once again, with Air McNair out having back surgery right now. He's got some real weapons.
Dyson's coming off a career day last Sunday, 162 yards, 9 receptions, 2 touchdowns. That equaled his total for the year last year. So 2nd and a long one. Dyson, another first down.
Dyson absolutely put on a show last week. I mean, this guy's got big-time talent. Last year, he was criticized a little bit because Randy Moss was drafted ahead of him. Look, he already has as many touchdowns this season with 2 as he had all last year. This guy is quick, and this takes a lot of courage. Bill, this is right into the teeth of the defense. He knows he's going to get killed. Holds on to the football.
Pick up a 10, 1st and 10 from the 27. George. Oh, nice move. What a wonderful tackle. Tim McTire up from his free safety position.
I tell you, Eddie George is making the same move every time, and I don't understand the Browns defenders. You miss a guy to the inside. That's where your help is. They keep taking the inside move and letting him get outside. I mean, that's basic football. Your help is coming from the inside where the rest of the team happens to be. What am I, crazy?
Sounds good to me.
I'm asking for too much.
2nd and 7 from the 24. O'Donnell. That's Wycheck. Flag is down. Let's check it. Rayner had the coverage. And holding against Cleveland. Ed Hockley, our referee today.
Jeff Fisher is absolutely one of the sharpest young coaches in the National Football League, a prodigy. His football life has been on a rocket ride. National champions in college, Super Bowl with the Bears.
Illegal hands to the face by the defense, number 33. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
That was Dalen McCutcheon, the rookie.
I want you to watch Neil O'Donnell stare down. He looks quickly to the left, outside to the right, brings his eyes back to the middle. That's what a veteran can do. He can survey the entire football field.
Michael Roan, the man who made the catch. So decent numbers for O'Donnell already. 1st and 10 from the 15. George, a loss of 2-3. Cleveland came after him. Arnold Miller made the stop, along with Jameer Miller.
That's a great defensive call against the right play. It's really a guess. They blitzed the guy that happened to be running at an angle that Eddie George was headed toward, right into the hole.
So time running out in the first quarter with our score. The Tennessee Titans 2, the Cleveland Browns nothing. Stadium located on the east bank of the Cumberland River overlooking downtown Nashville. And the Tennessee Titans are threatening 2nd and 13 from the Cleveland 18. Three receivers to the left. O'Donnell has some time, steps up. That's Thigpen. And he stopped at about the 6 by Corey Fuller.
O'Donnell literally has too much time. The Browns defense has been able to do nothing. Take a look at the first quarter stats, and folks in Cleveland, I know this will shock you. I mean, it's zeros across the board, -5 in passing yards, and the time of possession is something that was horrible last week. They only held about 12 minutes and 11 seconds last week. That's something that Coach Palmer wanted to improve upon, but they're struggling right now to get the Titans off the football field.
3rd and 1 after the pickup of 11. The pitch to George. He turns the corner and stops just short of the goal line. Well, the tire is down.
This is just an old-fashioned pitch play. Pull the guard, get people out front. And, boy, that's a tough one. The tire is too little to hit a 240-pound back running full speed in Eddie George.
So a timeout on the field. 13:59 left to play in the first half.
Yeah, is sponsored by DirecTV. What are you looking at? And by the NASDAQ stock market.
O'Donnell 9 of 11 for 83 yards. 1st and goal from the 1. George. No signal.
You know, that's a tremendous call by the official, because Eddie George's shoulder, helmet, everything but the football was into the end zone. I mean, take a look at this. Because, you know, to fans at home, you're saying, man, this is a touchdown. I see half his body in. Look at that. Ball never gets in. Ball is right there. Good look.
Jameer Miller made the stop. 12th play of the drive coming up. 2nd and goal. George. He's in.
As time goes on, this Cleveland defense is going to get sick of this. I mean, they have been on the football field the entire game.
That'll bring on Al Del Greco to try the extra point. The kick is good. 12:59 left to play in the first half. Tennessee 9, Cleveland nothing. I've covered 59 yards. Eddie George with his first rushing touchdown of the year. He had a 17-yard catch and run last week. Ronnie Powell is the deep man for Cleveland. He takes it about to 6. Across the 20, 25, breaks loose. And is brought down just short of the 40. Rodney Thomas made the stop for Tennessee. 12:48 left in the half. For the Browns to start, the first time that they've been outside of their own 10-yard line. So breathing room for Tim Couch as they start 1st and 10 from the 40. We get word, by the way, that Tim McTire had the wind knocked out of him. He'll be back. 1st and 10. Kirby's the deep back. Short drop for Couch. Sprints out. And tripped up by Samari Rolle after a pickup of 1. Well, one of America's most enduring images, the Goodyear blimp, is floating overhead, providing our aerial views for today's game. The Spirit of Akron is one of 7 airships in the Goodyear blimp fleet.
That was a great move by Couch. Blaine Bishop had taken the route. It was a stop route. Blaine gambled for the interception. Couch saw it, pulled it down, and just got what he could out of the play.
They call it a gain of 2, so 2nd and 8. That's Mark Campbell, the tight end, and he has a first down. Danon Sidney, the second-year cornerback out of Alabama Birmingham, made the stop.
Now that was a beautiful throw by Tim Couch, but my tight end Campbell he can't be dancing around that first down marker. You're a tight end, put your shoulder down. You see that little dance right there. You know, you can mess around and not get your first down. Nice little play fake, beautiful throw by Tim Couch. That'll make him a little more comfortable.
Pickup of 11. First time in Tennessee territory. Fumbled snap. Flags everywhere. Chris Palmer.
I tell you, I think this guy was a head coach waiting to happen also, Palmer. Offensive coordinator with Jacksonville. You know what he did there.
Ball start. Offense. Number 75. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Lomas Brown. Well, that's not those 13 yards, by the way, have come in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Before
I mean, this is an offense that things are looking up.
Before this drive, no first downs and 0 total yards.
You know, they'll start to pick it up, though. This is an offense that's been together for a few months. They'll pick it up.
So 1st and 15. 4 wide receivers in the game for Cleveland. Couch batted away, incomplete. And Javon Kirsch got a hand up.
I tell you what happens to a young quarterback. See, things go very slowly in college. Once you become the man in college, vision is clear. You go back, you know exactly what the defense is doing. Right now, Tim Couch is going back, and I don't care how good you are. When you're that young, there's some questions in your mind about where should the ball go. Once he realizes it, it's a little bit late. But that'll pick up as the game goes on, and certainly as the season goes on.
2nd and 15 from the 48. The slant in. That was intended for Darren Chiaverini and underthrown.
That was a rush throw. Blaine Bishop was in perfect position. And you take a look at the entire season, 0 out of 9 on 3rd down, and that'll just kill you.
0 for 7, excuse me, Beasley, 0 for 7 last Sunday night against Pittsburgh, 0 for 2 today.
And when we talked to Chris Palmer, he said that's their #1 focus this year was to do better on 3rd down. It's 3rd down right now.
3rd and 15, and that's not the situation they wanted to put Couch in. from the shotgun. Kearse. Jevon Kearse. Faced Tim Couch at Kentucky. There's the Gator. 16th pick overall.
4.8 in the 40-yard dash, Mr. Kearse. And when it's 15 yards to go for the first down, he is out on the outside and just speed around the corner. I had the wrong guy. He was at the right defensive end, but just speed around the corner. When you know the guy's got to drop back and pass, that's tough. Hard to block.
So again, we see Chris Gardocki. Roel Preston is back deep, retreating. Signals for the fair catch at the 5.
That's a mistake. When you put your feet on the 10-yard line, you let the ball bounce behind you.
54-yard punt. 9-0 Tennessee.
You got TV guys.
And by Coors Light, proud partner of the John Wayne Cancer Institute and their search for a cure.
Well, if you can't make it to the stadium, you can still get in on all your favorite team gear, caps, jerseys, and more. Plus, the shipping is free. Just click on NFL at cbs.sportsline.com. Tennessee starting deep in their own territory now from the 5. George pulls his way for maybe 3. Jameer Miller rode him down. Well, Monday on CBS, you take a regular guy whose life is filled with women and let the games begin. Alfred Molina stars with Sharon Lawrence in the series premiere of Ladies Man, right after the King of Queens Monday, right here on CBS.
Monday night is big. All the new shows.
2nd and 7 from the 8. Again, George, a little stutter step. He's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Hervin McCormick, former Dallas Cowboy, made the stop.
An interesting thing about Eddie George, this guy has a heck of a season. Like the first 8 games, he's over 100 yards almost every game. Back half of the season, he has almost 0 100-yard games. So they wear him down. So the game plan has been to diversify the offense a little bit, but with the change at quarterback, they have really been working Eddie George in this game.
3rd and 7. Quick intended for Dyson. All kinds of pressure. And O'Donnell got rid of it. And that's the thing you hear about Neil O'Donnell, Beasley, is that he's not going to hurt you. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. Marquez Pope had the pressure that time.
No, you're right. He's a smart guy. And that's something that aggravates a lot of coaches about Neil O'Donnell, because he'll dump it to the back, dump it to the tight end, and then sometimes they scream out. I know Bill Parcells, that's one of the reasons they parted ways, is that he thought Neil was a little too careful. But he's just smart. He's not going to get you in trouble. Solid quarterback. Perfect for this situation.
Hendrick from his own end zone. Johnson trying to get it to the outside. And he stopped at about the 49-yard line, just inside Tennessee territory. A 3-yard return after a 43-yard punt. And a flag is down.
Well, this is the second drive that Cleveland's had real good field position. And it'll get better.
Personal foul, face mask by the kicking team, number 59. 15-yard penalty. Cleveland keeps the ball, first down.
Doug Coleman calls for the face mask. 8:49 left in the half. 9-0 Tennessee. Cleveland, 73,000 jamming the new Cleveland Browns Stadium to celebrate the return of the NFL to Cleveland, and Browns fans sprinkled throughout the stadium here in Nashville. And again, a great place to start for Cleveland. 4 wides are in for Couch. That's Terry Kirby, and Kirby is inside the 20. Marcus Robertson made the stop, a pickup of 16.
That's exactly what Tim Couch needed. He got the one throw to the tight end. He gets one out to the back. And really what the Titans are doing, they are putting so much pressure straight up the middle and around the tackle box that when Couch is able to get a receiver on the outside of the formation, he's able to do some damage.
So Couch with a completion. And the Browns are driving. Steps up. Sack. And again, it's Javon Kearse.
Folks, this is #1 draft choice versus #1 draft choice in Tim Couch. Not exactly, because Tim Couch is not trying to block Javon Kearse, but look at this man put on a show. Coming from the left side of your screen, he just defeats his blocker and comes in and makes the sack.
So a loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Kirby with nowhere to go. Lane Bishop was the first one there.
And Kearse really, with that sack, capping off what was a beautiful series in the making. You know, before that, look at the guy. They call it physically impossible. 6'4", 265. Runs a 4.43 in the 40. Can that be? Well, look at this. Watch him throw his man out of the way and tip the ball. That's the series before this one. And then, like on the next play, he comes in, outruns his man, and gets a sack. Second sack of the game, 2 sacks. That was his first. So Javon Kearse showing why he's the #1 draft pick.
The man he threw out of the way was Orlando Brown at 6'7", 350. Fake the reverse. Now the screen intended for Kirby, and it was set up.
It was set up beautifully. That was just a rookie problem there. I mean, Tim had it. He got just a little disheveled. You know, he had a fake here, he had a delay. That's a lot to ask a rookie to do. He knows he blew one here. Look at this. But you know, if I could talk into his little helmet, I'd say, remember what you told me yesterday. There will be ups and downs. Just let it go. You'll make the play the next time.
He makes a very good impression in our conversations with him. Phil Dawson now, 41-yard field goal. And the new Cleveland Browns have scored their first points.
Cleveland rock. They're rocking in Cleveland.
Chris Palmer likes it. Phil Dawson, the free agent who spent last year on the Patriots practice squad. The Browns are on the board, 9-3. Chris Gardocki set to kick it off. The former Pro Bowl punter who also kicks it off. The 9-year veteran signed as an unrestricted free agent from the Colts in February. That goes to Roel Preston. Cuts it outside and up the field and driven out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Ryan McNeil made the stop after a return of 29 yards. And coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report, join Jim Nantz, Randy Cross, Craig James, and Jerry Glanville. Getting you caught up on all the scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report.
Did you hear this part of the pregame show?
Oh, yeah.
Randy Cross was hard on my man Barry Sanders.
I heard that.
Wow.
I heard that.
Hey, he's telling the truth, though. I mean, at some point, Barry's got to speak for himself. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm doing.
It is interesting that we haven't heard from Barry Sanders throughout all of this. 1st and 10 from the 34. 6:40 left to play in the half. Play action from O'Donnell. With time, he guns it. Big pin. Dalen McCutcheon, the rookie, had the coverage, but a gain of 21.
See, Neil O'Donnell is in that New York walk now. He's in that New York guy, you know, the swagger. Boy, look at this. Nice fake. Very patient. Sees his man. Beautiful blocking by the line. And just an absolute strike to six in. They've been together a long time. You know, he was his star receiver at Pittsburgh. They know each other's moves.
1st and 10 from the 45. This is George. Can't quite turn the corner. McCutcheon was up quickly from the cornerback spot.
These Browns can't quite keep Eddie George from turning the corner.
Neil O'Donnell got a lot of work in the preseason when McNair missed almost 3 weeks. Titans like his leadership qualities. They know that he's gotten teams to the playoffs and to a Super Bowl.
That's the best backup quarterback in the National Football League. Titans are very lucky to have it.
Again, play action. Up the seam, intended for Wycheck and overthrown. And the tire had the coverage. And 3rd and 6.
Wycheck is mad because he thought he was open. There was a guy deep, McTire, and a linebacker trailing underneath. So that's like a jump shot. It's like a little drop pass.
Wycheck coming off the best year of his career last season. He made his first Pro Bowl. Led all tight ends in the NFL with 70 receptions.
Wycheck is a legitimate NFL star. A lot of fun to watch.
3rd and 6 from the shotgun. Thigpen is the man in motion at the top of your screen. Here comes Cleveland. Play action. Buys a little bit of time. The out pattern. Chris Sanders, and it's another Tennessee first down. And that was a veteran quarterback who made that play.
And it was an absolutely gorgeous route by Chris Sanders out on the outside. Now watch Neal. Neal, first of all, draws everybody in with just a beautiful fake. Look at that. And when you stick the ball in Eddie George's stomach, people pay attention. Look how comfortable it is. Now watch this route. Now sit it down, Chris. Beautiful. He pushed the cornerback way away, set it down, tiptoe on the sideline.
1st and 10 from the 26. The slant. Caught. That's Wycheck inside the 20. The big man did a good job hanging on to the football.
Neil O'Donnell is showing off now. I mean, this guy is just now he's showing off. I mean, that was just a great strike, a confident throw.
And last year, O'Donnell was the AFC's 3rd most efficient passer with the Bengals. 15 touchdowns. Only 4 interceptions, and that's one of the things that Jeff Fisher liked. 2nd and 5. George. Hey, it's over. Picking his way close to another first down.
You know, I don't know if people realize how good this football team can be. The skill positions are absolutely beautiful on the Titans. Look at the blocking up front. Now, I'll tell you what makes it work is that the tackles make you think that it's going to be a pass. Brad Hopkins in a drop back. That sucks the defenders up. So when they hand the ball to Eddie George, he's almost equal with at least 2 or 3 of the defensive linemen.
Inside of 4 minutes remaining in the half. 3rd and 1. George already with 50 yards today. Dyson is the man in motion. It goes to George. He's got a first down and more. Pulling his way inside the 10.
You know, that's the great adjective, because Eddie George does run like a bullet. I just can't imagine. Now take a look at this. He's going to get nice lead blocking up front. Look at the pull of the guards. This is absolutely beautiful. And then when you call him a bully, look at this. Come on, is that fair to ask the defensive back to tackle a guy 240?
That's Corey Fuller who goes 217. Nice blocking by Bruce Matthews and Scott Sanderson. The 1st and goal from the 9. That's Thigpen. And O'Donnell gunned it.
O'Donnell knows exactly where Thigpen is going to be. This is one of those timing routes. You have to play together to throw this ball. He sits down into the little pocket of the zone, and look where the ball is. I tell you, the ball is in between the 8 and the 2. Neil O'Donnell could not be playing any better. And when Neil threw that ball, there was a little fancy hop that he did. That's when you know a guy is in his rhythm. 6'1", 203. Veteran, Thigpen in his 8th year.
So inside the 1, the pitch goes to George. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Watch Wycheck at the top of your screen. Find Wycheck, you know where the ball is going. Wycheck closes off the entire sideline with his crackback block. Eddie George can walk straight over to the fence and celebrate.
Del Greco to try the extra point.
It's good, and with 2:21 left to play in the first half, our score, Tennessee 16, Cleveland 3. And he's close to a Cleveland first down. Joe Bowden made the stop for Tennessee. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Tennessee 16, Cleveland 3. Back to Nashville in a moment.
When you buy a bargain basement PC, what you're really buying is a mystery box. Will there be a monitor? Probably not. A color printer? Ha! A year on the internet, 24/7 tech support? Dream on. With a Gateway Essential PC, you know exactly what you're getting. Monitor, Intel Celeron processor, award-winning tech support, and a color printer for $29 a month. No mystery there. Call now and make no payments until 2000.
At Burger King, we're always trying to make have it your way better. Like this idea for a win your way college football game. Run back a kickoff and win great prizes. Then we thought, why not just scratch and win? This week, Colorado and Washington face off, and you could win $1 million, a Toyota RAV4, or the best tasting prize of all, a delicious Whopper. Burger King. When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
I will not underestimate the amount I'll need to retire comfortably.
Experts agree that once you retire, you'll still need 60 to 80% of your pre-retirement salary. Social Security or pensions won't even make up half of that. You need to determine where the rest of your retirement income will come from for the next 20 years or more.
Fidelity Retirement Income Planning will help you determine how a rollover and other investments work toward your retirement goals. Call 1-800-FIDELITY or visit fidelity.com to learn more.
This week on The Late Show, Dave welcomes Robin Williams, Norm Macdonald, Adam Sandler, Stephen Pettrix, and Randy Travis. Monday, don't miss Michael J. Fox and Miss America 99.
Beautiful September day here in Nashville, and today's aerial shots are provided by the Goodyear blimp Spirit of Akron. Tim Couch said that when he comes to the line of scrimmage, the first person he's looking for is Tennessee strong safety Blaine Bishop. Number 23, Bishop keys the Tennessee coverage and will tell him what to expect. This is Kirby, out close to the 40. Eddie Robinson made the stop.
Well, it's time for Tim Couch to make a play. They have protected him with a couple of draws.
No huddle. And that's a nice catch by Irv Smith, the tight end. Close to another first down.
A guy is saying that it careened off the ground. That was a beautiful throw by Tim, though. Yep, then it hit the ground.
Ed Hockley, and no protest from Coach Palmer.
I repeat it again. It's time for Tim to make a throw now. There, he's not facing the blitzing.
We are reviewing the ruling on the field.
Uh-oh, there's a review. Now, you know, in the last 2 minutes, they have the right to say, we're going to take a look at it, do the official.
Taken out of the coach's hands. No challenges are allowed in the final 2 minutes of either half, so the play is under review.
I love this. I love when things are under review. You know, they go in and, you know, it's exciting. All the fans are like, they're not holding their breath. It's a beautiful day here in Tennessee. They're talking, having a great time. And what a beautiful facility these Titans play in. But I love when things are under review. I think it's great for the integrity of the game. Let's see if we can, let's review. Ready, Bill?
See if we can tell from this angle.
That's a great throw right there. Now, see, it bounced in the air while he was on the way down. The question is, did he gather it before he hit the ground? He catches, it separates, see it separate, and then it looks like he re-caught it.
Actually caught it on the way down.
Before he got to the ground.
Now, remember, Ed Hockley's crew was involved in that instant replay controversy, or several controversies last week between the Giants and Tampa Bay.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a catch. After further review, that's a catch. And why is he under there so long?
They got to come up with a better look than that, I think.
Well, if he saw the angle that I just saw it catch, he caught it, missed it in the air, kind of dropped it in the air, but as he came down, his hands were underneath the football. I haven't missed a review call yet. Of course, this is my first review call. Watch that. There's a catch. See the ball floating, suspended, and then his hands are underneath the ball when he comes to the ground.
That was tremendous.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. The ball hit the ground. The pass was incomplete. Brings up second down.
All right, I'm 0 for 1.
I actually think you were right.
Now look, I need another look, guys. Okay, here we go. It's caught, it's dropped, and then looks like the hand got underneath it to me. But let's play football.
2nd and 10. Green and hit an official.
The official almost caught it, just out of reaction.
That was intended for Terry Kirby.
Chad Brown, the umpire, almost caught this ball. Watch this. See, Chad?
Like I got it.
You know, all these guys were over last week. And Chad almost pulled that one in.
Well, that'll bring up 3rd and 10. Couch with time, and that should have been picked off.
Don't tell me that was lame.
It was. Bounced off of his shoulder pad.
I'll hear about this one. Look at him laughing.
He knows.
Well, you know, this is one of those situations where Tim had to make a play. He had to gamble. Had to put it downfield. And he didn't throw that one very well.
That was intended for the rookie out of Colorado, Darren Chiaverini. So Gardocki out to punt. Well, Preston again is back deep for Tennessee. Taken at the 25 and down close to the 30. Ryan McNeil made the stop. 36-yard punt. Well, next Sunday, the NFL on CBS has a full slate of regional games. In some areas, it'll be Eddie George and the Titans taking on Mark Brunell and Jacksonville. Others will see the Browns at the Ravens, plus other regional action. Check local listings beginning with Jim Nance, Randy Cross, Craig James, and Jerry Glanville on the NFL Today. The NFL on CBS.
What a lineup, huh? The Browns going to Art Modell's team. That could be some mess.
Now, Rodney Thomas has checked in now for Tennessee, and Cleveland still has not converted on 3rd down. They're 0 for 12. Dyson is the man in motion. O'Donnell will go out of the shotgun. That's Thomas. They like his receiving ability and his speed, and he battles his way close to a 1st down.
Beautiful move. Very cool play by Neil O'Donnell. Had a guy in his face, dumped it out to Rodney. Rodney's got great open field moves.
Clock running, 52 seconds. O'Donnell stands in the pocket with plenty of time. Thomas again with the catch. The clock continues to roll. Antonio Langham made the stop. And Tennessee will take a timeout with 44 seconds remaining in the half.
They did not want that timeout. They wanted Rodney to catch the ball and run out of bounds to stop the clock, but the defense tackled him before he could get out. You know, when you're a defender in this situation, you expect outside breaking routes for time management. So if you're going to gamble, you should gamble that the guy's going to break outside.
Now, last week in Cincinnati, the Titans had 403 yards in total offense. They were 1st in the AFC in passing.
This has not been the prolific stretching offense that we saw last week from the Titans, but it has been very efficient beyond the first 2 drives.
1st and 10 from the 44. O'Donnell hit as he throws. Big Ten got way in the air but couldn't hang on.
That was a body catch from Thigpen because he knew he would be killed. Normally you catch that ball with your hand.
Marlon Forbes, the backup safety, nailed him. Take a look at the numbers for both quarterbacks.
10 with 2 completions compared to 15. But, you know, you expect Tim's numbers to be down. They started out in horrible field position. He's not getting the time that Neil O'Donnell is getting. He doesn't have the experience.
40 seconds remaining. They give it to Thomas, and he dives to midfield. And now Cleveland wants a timeout.
So you have to be very careful here also. They'll run the ball, and as a defense, you start to look to the half with 32 seconds left. But one strategy, a psychological ploy on the Titans could be to run a ball, let them relax a little bit, and then give me a double cut. Give me a curl and go, give me an out and go, something to see if we could get a demoralizing strike right at the end. You know, the Browns really had a horrible nightmare week last week after all the excitement to start the contest. Ty Detmer was literally swallowed. They had no running game. Tim Couch got in the game. His first throw was an interception. The rest of the game was a nightmare. And then when you take a look at the stats, this is one that the great Cleveland Browns fans will never want to remember. They'll throw that one right out. Actually holding the ball only 12 minutes.
A 3rd and 4. O'Donnell goes back under center, pitches it out to Thomas. He has a little bit of a seam. A flag is down. Enough for a first down, but they may bring it back, and they will.
Holding. Offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Scott Sanderson.
See, this has really been a sluggish offensive performance by the Titans. You know, obviously they come in this game, they're not threatened, so they're not at peak performance. It's not like when they go to Jacksonville when it's time to strap it up. So that explains it a little bit, but, you know, still Neil O'Donnell can be very proud of his first half of play.
Eddie George is back in. 3rd and 13 after the penalty. 26 seconds remaining in the half. Donald guns it. Eddie George with the catch. Dalen McCutcheon made the stop, and that's not a matchup that Dalen would look forward to. 5'8", 180. Huge man in Eddie George.
Complicated game. Whoever invented this had a real bad attitude.
18 seconds remaining.
I mean, you know, you just put guys in positions where to play certain positions you have to be small, and inevitably you have to end up playing against one-on-one people who are very big, like that guy. It's just not fair. So, you know, sumo wrestlers, everybody's big. You see where I'm coming from?
I understand.
Okay.
4th and 7. Craig Hintrick is on to punt for Tennessee. And tonight on 60 Minutes, if you think today's public schools can't educate children the way they did when you went to school, watch the premiere of another season of 60 Minutes. That's tonight. Hintrick standing at his own 32-yard line. Kevin Johnson is back deep for Cleveland. Lets it go. Takes an amazing bounce and is down inside the 1-yard line. A 52-yard punt. That's going to make it hard to even take a knee.
Oh, this is real good. I mean, this is real good. The punt, first of all, is amazing in its distance and the dead way that it bounces. Now, the greatest punters in the world can't control that. But the defender coming down, you know, stopping it right, that's just tough.
Donald Mitchell, the rookie out of SMU, has perfect body control. So 8 seconds remaining in the half.
We got coaches cheerleading on the sideline, trying to get the Tennessee fans to make enough noise to disrupt Tim Couch, and it's working.
Quarterback sneak. And Tim's got to be thinking, I know it's going to get better than this. So that's the end of the first half with the score, Tennessee 16, Cleveland 3.
On his groove. Watch him here. It's a quick slant play to the outside. Look at him accelerate through the hole. Now watch what he does. Put that shoulder down. Wham! Lance Schulters on your back. That's no easy task. Schulters is a hitter.
Jennison in motion. First down from the 36. Williams this time cutting left. Gains 2 up to the 38 as we check out the numbers from the first half.
Kenny, so far this game is almost dead even. It is dead even. It's 14-14 and the stats show it. Neither team doing terribly well on the ground. Both quarterbacks looking pretty good. 100 yards in the air. Turnovers haven't been.
Here with 54. Ricky Williams down to the 32.
Hey, Ricky Williams is starting to play football. He got cracked so hard by Junior Bryant on that play there. You can hear it from up here. You can almost feel it from up here. But you know what he did? Instead of crumpling, he spun. He picked up an extra yard. Ricky Williams is starting to get it going. Look at that. First 7 rushes, 10 yards. Last 7, 41 yards. I'm going to do the math. That's 7 yards a carry, almost. Great job.
Very good. Holbrook's pass is caught by Keith Poole. He was down. The ground caused the fumble. Another first down for the Saints, a gain of 11.
Hey, this is a nice job by the Saints starting to mix it up. They need to put pressure on the cornerbacks. They need to force the 49ers into 7-man fronts to help Ricky Williams. Here's Mark McMillan here. He's got an over-the-top coverage on Poole. He's got only help underneath. Poole does a nice job hanging on to that thing.
First and 10 from the 22. Back to Ricky Williams on 3rd and 11. And Williams picks up the first down.
Hey, that's a big run by the young back. Why is it big? It's big because he runs through Tim McDonald, one of the best in the business. The 49ers free safety comes up, strong safety comes up. Look at this. Williams puts a little move on him and powers right through for the first down.
The 49ers expected pass. Williams needed 11. He gained 12.
I tell you, he is coming into his own. 32 yards on 4 carries in this second half.
Here's Williams on first down, stays on his feet, and then is taken down for a loss of 1.
You know, I think the difference in the 49ers run defense is the way Jim Mora, the new defensive coordinator, is calling the plays. They're aggressive. Really, you see both defenses doing this run blitz type of action. It allows the linebackers to get upfield fast. It allows Bryant Young to shoot the gaps, and that's exactly what happened on that last play.
And Jim Mora, of course, the son of the all-time winningest coach in Saints history. Jim Jr. was a Saints assistant earlier in this decade.
I spoke to him before the game. He was excited for his dad because the Colts were beating the Patriots, but unfortunately, New England came back to win that one by 2.
On 2nd and 11. Holbert looking for Craver. Marvin Washington got a piece of it.
Nice play by Marvin Washington. Not known for his pass rushing, known more for being a substantial replacement of Barker in the run game. But he's done a nice job on that play of getting up into Billy Joe Holbert's face, forcing a bad pass.
So another 3rd down and 11 for the Saints. They converted just moments ago. 3 wide receivers. Holbert out of the shotgun. Holbert fires. Touchdown! Lawrence Dawsey, his first touchdown in 5 years. And the 3rd touchdown pass of the day for Billy Joe Holbert.
Lawrence Dawsey just beats him. He beats him on a corner. He drives deep.
Walker respects him too much, gives him too much of a cushion, and Dawsey separates. Hobert throws the perfect pass. Hobert is hot today.
Lawrence Dawsey out of Florida State, spent 5 years in Tampa Bay. He was out of football the last 2 seasons. His last touchdown was right here in San Francisco with the Buccaneers in 1994.
I think besides his mother, you're the only one that would know that.
Now you do as well.
Everyone does.
Cash a charge.
Next, please.
Red 79, blue 18, hot, hot.
Out here, the stories unfold like a map. Stories written across the sky with the tip of an eagle's wing, or read between the lines of a sheer rock face. Stories you can hear in the thunder of a river. The kind of stories that could fill a scrapbook you'd want to page through again and again. Of course, to fill that scrapbook, you gotta get out there where the stories live. You're gonna need an outfitter for the journey, an outfitter for your dreams.
Solid. I mean, he made good decisions. Tim Couch basically had no shot.
He had no chance. Started with terrible field position. This is one of those moments.
Well, he was pinned, the offense of Cleveland, look at that, pinned inside the 7-yard line 3 times, giving up that one safety. And you know what? They finally got on the board, though. They're rocking in Cleveland after this one. Beautiful field goal. And for the first time, they get on the board. This is a team that basically did nothing last week. They controlled the ball for 12 minutes and 11 seconds the entire game. Coach Palmer gets something to celebrate about.
Field goal by Phil Dawson, the free agent kicker, and 2 first-half touchdowns by Eddie George.
Eddie George is just too strong. He's got great lead blocking from Lorenzo Neal or from Frank Wycheck. That time it was Lorenzo. This time it is Wycheck who slides from the inside. You saw him flash by your screen, and Eddie George simply walks in. He's having a great day. Not big numbers, but Eddie George gets up high enough to celebrate with the people.
Meanwhile, let's take a look at the numbers.
Well, the numbers, you know, are not going to be good.
That is not pretty.
No, the only good thing about Cleveland, they have not turned the ball over. Everything else has been horrible from passing yards. I blame absolutely none of this on Tim Couch. He's had no shot. The 2 times he did have good field position, you could tell that he was trying to find himself, trying to make the vision come clear like it did once he gained control of college football. Well, this is not college. Things are moving really fast, and also this is a very unique defense for him to face. You know, I predict that this second half you're going to see a little more out of Couch. This guy is a prodigy. When you think about his life, he has always been the stud, the big man in town.